All right, let me make her a co-host just in case it's needed. And I think we are live. Yes, we are. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. So glad to see some of your faces. And for those on Facebook, thank you for joining us. I am going to share my screen and jump right into the presentation for today. Let me just make sure. Again, bear with me. I'm sharing it from my Mac to my iPad, and this is still a new process for me, and it's just not the same as a PC. And I'm still figuring it all out, but hopefully all goes well. All right. So again, welcome to those in the Zoom. Welcome to those joining us on Facebook. As always, please introduce yourselves both in the chat as well as in the comment section on Facebook, so that we can get to know you and you all get to know each other a little better, especially for those of you that are with us for the very, very first time. And for those who are, and for those that are returning, I'm Magali Ascent. I serve as the Interim Executive Director for Hustle Winston-Salem, which is an organization that is based and focused on inclusive entrepreneurship. We are in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And of course, we directly service anyone in the Triad area, but we extend our services to anyone throughout the state and throughout the nation, and even globally if you reach out to us, to be honest. So we're happy to help in any way. In this particular program, we're happy to host it every week, entitled Marketing Outside the Box, where we choose a topic for the month and we kind of drill in on that topic from various aspects, hopefully to make it easier for small business owners and entrepreneurs to manage some of their own marketing. So that's kind of the focus. And this month we have been focused on SEO. Last week, we talked through a few tips and tricks that I hope was extremely helpful to everyone that attended. And for those that did not attend and you may want that presentation, definitely just reach out to us, either Tony or Tasha, who are probably in the Zoom. They can drop an email address in there for you that you can send us an email and we can send you the presentation or the video. Or you can visit our Facebook page and you can watch the video directly. You just won't get the presentation from Facebook. Okay, so if I start repeating myself, somebody call me out on it. I went to bed at 4 a.m. and I was awake by 8 a.m. So I think I'm a little kind of behind today. So if you see me kind of dozing off like, Magali, you said that 5 times now, then let me know. I think I'll be all right, but I just kind of want to let you know where my mental status is. But I'm super excited about this topic and sharing this information with you. Something you will hear me repeat a lot, and it's not because I'm sleepy, are the terms Google. You'll hear Google a lot today, so get used to hearing it because it's going to be a huge part of what we're talking about, as it was last week. So last week, we went over tips and tricks as related to structuring your web presence so that you can be SEO efficient. And today, it's all about location from a web standpoint. Google doesn't only look at the structure, which is still very important. So everything we talked about last week, you still need to make sure you implement. But Google doesn't only look at the structure of your website when they're determining where you should rank. Of course, they look at copy, which if you remember, we'll be exploring copy and keywords and all of that next week to close out this session. But a key thing that they look at that we often ignore, especially as small business owners, is off-page SEO factors. And one of those key factors is citations. So that's where we'll start today. Let's see here. Did my screen switch? Are y'all still looking at the same screen? Okay, I see Marlene telling me no. What about now? All right. Thank you. Marlene is my girl. I can always see her because she keeps that camera on. It's easy to see her. Thank you. So citations, what are they, right? Citations, just like you see on the screen here, they're online mentions of your business, and they usually display your business name, address, and phone number. And you'll typically hear people that work in this space, people that live in all things internet, they'll just call it NAP, N-A-P, and that it's as simple as it sounds. It looks there. It's your business name, your business address, and your business phone number. It sounds simple, but it's so important. And here's why you should care about citations from an SEO point of view. Citations, and this is directly from Google, citation signals are one of the top local ranking factors. And this is true for Google Snack Pack, which I'll tell you what a Google Snack Pack is shortly. It's true for their snack packs, and it's also true for regular organic search results. So you always want to make sure that your business is cited correctly. And while definitely it's the most popular, Google isn't the only search engine people use. For example, if someone's looking for something very specific, they may already know a different platform to search on. I'll use the example of Thumbtack. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Thumbtack, but it's an app and a website that you can go to find, specific services that someone can do for you. Like if your computer started acting funny, or you have a fan that don't work in your house, or you just want a wall painted, or you want somebody to run your laundry, whatever, that's Thumbtack. It's that type of site where you can pretty much get anything done. And if someone needs something like that done, they may go directly to Thumbtack to search and not Google. And that's why citations still matter all the time, because it takes care of making sure they know your business name, address, and phone number. Simple stuff, but I wanted to stress it before we get deeper in today's presentation. So as we think about citations, where do we start? We talked about Google My Business last week. Okay, so arguably, some people will say the most important citation of all is Google My Business. I am some people. The most important citation of all is Google My Business, at least from the perspective of ranking and appearing in Google for relevant terms. And I say that because although I just said to you, some people will go directly to other sites, the interesting thing about this, a lot of those other sites are pulling from Google, okay? So Google My Business is the most important citation site. If you don't get anything, I stressed this last week, I'm stressing it again. So why is it so important? Have you literally ever Googled anything? And you can, whether you search for it just in a regular Google search, or if you went to like the Google Maps page and search whatever, you'll kind of see this type of image pop up that I know you probably can't see exactly what it says, doesn't matter, but does that look familiar to most people? This is something that looks familiar to most people. Yeah, I see you nodding, great. Because that is what is known as a Google's map pack or snack pack. The map pack, I mean, the map, MAP snack, or the snack pack, whatever you decide to call it, it's the first 3 things that Google shows you. It used to be 7. Once upon a time, Google used to show us 7 things at one time. They've reduced that to 3. So the snack pack, the map pack, are those top 3 things that Google will show you when you search for something. There are 2 things you should know about it. 2 very important things you should know about it, about the snack pack. It often appears at the top of the search results for local terms. So if you're in a specific location or something like that, and you search, food near me, obviously it's going to show you the top 3 food items near you. If you're searching for gift baskets, if you're searching for pre-K, if you're searching for tutors, if you're searching for school system, authors, whatever, it's going to show you the top 3 things based on where you physically are in that moment. So this means that Google, Google Snack Pack pushes down organic listings. So even things that organically we look at and they have the most ratings when people are searching for them and clicking on them, Google will use the location based as your snack pack before even what other people are clicking on. Does that make sense? Does that do? Okay, I'm seeing nodding heads. Great. And I'm stressing that because I want to make sure you understand the importance of location-based SEO and how you make sure your location and everything is posted on the internet. So again, even if you rank #1 in the organic search, you will still get beaten by the Mac pack. You will still not be, unless they're in your area. If you're in your area, then you got a 2 for 1. You'll come up first and you're the top hit. But location will always beat organic search. And that's very important for you to realize. Google pulls that data. You're going to hear it again. Google is pulling that data of when that person is there from what? From your Google My Business listing. So I'm stressing it again. Google is pulling that data from your Google My Business listing. So if you are not listed in Google My Business, you are not going to pop up in that snack pack. You are not probably going to even pop up in the search engine. But even if you pop up in the search engine, you won't be on that first page likely. And again, yep.
So Lorena wanted to know, what about if you don't have a physical address? I started my Google My Business, but I don't show in maps.
If you don't have a physical address, here's the thing. If you have Google My Business, that I want you to remember, if you went through this process, I know Lorena, you and I talked last week and you're having a few issues with your Google My Business, but when you do Google My Business, when you apply for Google My Business, and it's free, guys, it's not something you pay for. When you do your Google My Business, you determine whether or not you display an address. So if you're a web-only business, you still have to give Google an address. And Google will base that off of that information. If you completed your Google My Business, and because they go through a verification process, they either call you or they send you something in the mail to verify your business. They are using that as a location for you, as your area. So that's why they ask you which location in the application process. They ask you, and then there's a little checkbox that you can say display my address on Google or not, because some people don't have a physical location and they don't want people to know that they are, in any particular place because they don't have a place. But Google still needs to verify you're real, so they will mail you something, and they're going to base it off of that. And what they're going to do, they're not going to base it physically off your home address. If that's what you give and you say, this is not my business address, they're going to base it off the general. Like if you put Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I search a particular service or product that you offer, you'll likely, I don't know that you'll pop up in the snack pack, because if there are competitors that have physical addresses that are closer to where I am in the moment, they might pop up in the snack pack, but Google will base your location off of that. So does that help, Lorena? I hope so.
She said I even got a code in the mail.
Yeah, they send you a verification in the mail, correct.
Yeah, and I think that the main issue is my whole Google My Business, I haven't completed it. And so there's something missing because I still don't show up.
So I know that we talked a little bit and we need to look at that. So we'll make sure we take care of you, Lorena. We have to get that right because it's too important to your businesses, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So your business profile, your Google My Business profile appears right when people are searching for your business or businesses like yours on Google search or on maps, on Google Maps. It'll show up regardless when people are searching. So even if they don't put your business name, and that's what most people are not putting your business name. That's why they're searching for something. They're putting in categories, things that they're looking for, which again, we'll talk about keywords next week. But when you put those things into your Google My Business profile, and we'll talk about some of those things on the next slide, Google makes sure that whatever they're searching for, you pop up, and location help you pop up in the snack pack. I want to drive that point home. So before I move on to the next slide, again, we discussed Google My Business last week, and I know a lot of you have your cameras off right now. I want to know how many of you went ahead and assured that your business is accurately listed. I already know that Lorena did, and we already know some of the issues that she faced, but what are some other issues that you face? If you did go through that process, is there anything that you want to point out that I can't promise you, I might be able to answer today, or I'll let you know if it might determine we need something a more deeper one-on-one. But did anyone go through that process? Is everyone set up on Google My Business, or are you not set up and that's part of why you don't know yet? And be honest, because again, you're here to make sure your business is moving forward. So I'm assuming this silence means, I don't know if the chat is popping, but I know this silence means that you all are all set up on Google My Business, yes?
Bailey said, I did it. I did. It has been on a while, so it is good. And then Dara said, I just set up my account.
Perfect, perfect, good. So if you all encounter any issues that you think you might need help, I don't claim to be a Google My Business expert on any level, but if there's anything you think that we might be able to help with, just send us an email. Again, Tony can put our email address in the chat if it's not already in there, and we will definitely try to help. And if you need to schedule a one-on-one, when you send that email, Tasha will make sure that that gets scheduled. The other thing I want to point out on this slide before I move on, as I shared with you last week, anytime you see something in this presentation where it's underlined like this, it's probably a link to something that will be helpful to you. These are the Google My Business guidelines, and these will this will help you make sure that you have followed the right rules when you're setting up your Google My Business, so that you show up and everything that you think you look like on Google is what you look like. So this link are Google's direct guidelines to help walk you through that process. So that may be very helpful for folks like Lorena to look over to make sure you follow those steps to complete your Google My Business.
Magali,
Mm-hmm.
can you put that link or the web address in, or somebody put it in the chat for me? For the guidelines?
I would love to do it in this moment, but because I'm trying to figure out my computer systems, I feel like I'm going to mess up something. But what I will do, if you stick around maybe 2 minutes after the end of this presentation, I'll drop it in there for you, but you will get this presentation, and that presentation will have the link. Everyone on this call will get the presentation.
I tried, the reason why I'm asking you is because I got the presentation from last week, and you have to bear with me that I really don't know what I'm doing on the computer. But anyway, I tried to go into it. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't get it. So all the links from last week I couldn't do. So yeah, I'll stick around.
Well,
don't worry about
it. Go ahead and probably schedule a one-on-one with me, Marlene. You have my link to schedule. And the reason I'm saying that is because I can almost bet, I don't know for sure, I would do it today, but I have a meeting right after today's session, but I can almost bet that you are not logged into your Google account when you go to Google My Business.
That's right.
You are or you are not.
No, you're absolutely right. No, I'm not.
Yeah, that'll make things a little difficult. It's easier if you are logged into your Google account. I'll help you through that, okay?
Okay.
And a lot of times people don't even have a Google account and they think they do, and it's a lot, but I'll make sure I help you through it. So set up a one-on-one with me.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And just so you all know, let me take a moment to say, because I don't think I shared that we do this program in conjunction with the Foresight Tech Small Business Center. We just added a link for those that are familiar with the small business website. We added a link under the mentors section that if you attend Marketing Outside the Box, you can also schedule a one-on-one with me directly through their website, if that's easier for you to do it that way instead of the Calendly link that we have, okay? So either way you can, but in order to schedule at the Small Business Center, you have to be here. Same thing with my one-on-one. If you schedule a one-on-one with me, you weren't here. And I was like, well, did you look at the presentation first? Okay. All right. So moving on, if there aren't any other questions around anyone trying to set up their Google My Business last week that may have had some issues. Okay. So the next few things that you see here on this slide, they are assuming that you have your Google My Business profile set up. So again, I'm saying all of these things that you see on this slide, assuming that you have it set up or at least have attempted to set it up so you're not totally lost. If you haven't started at all, just keep these things in mind when you do go back and set up your Google My Business. These things are important. So again, Google My Business is great. And the basics of Google My Business is just about enough. The setting up a basic profile is just about enough, but there are some things you can do to optimize your Google My Business even more, to stand out from your competitors, to make sure that people are looking at you first. These are small things that make the difference when you're setting that profile up. First on that list is choosing the right category. So if you went through that process, you saw where you had to category, like you had to choose, you had to type in a category for your business. So choose the right category, choose whatever you think best represents your business. If I was doing it for hustle, I would probably put in entrepreneurship as my category, right? So then they have an option where you can add more categories. So you put that choosing the category is your primary one. That's what you want to make sure you put. Don't put something you also do. What is it that you want people to know about your business is your first category, because you only get to put one thing in that. Then there's another option further on where you can add more categories. So again, if I was doing it for hustle, I would have entrepreneurship, then I could probably put in women, people of color, small businesses, local business, whatever. I can put all things that I think matter to hustle as people are searching for what they might need on the internet that I know we offer as free services, right? So I would put all of that in there. The next thing after you add more categories is if you have photos, which I hope by now you all know how much I stress photo and videos, upload relevant photos. A lot of people skip this step on Google My Business, and it is okay to skip it. I want to let you know it is not the end of the world if you skip this step. But if you're, especially if you're in an industry where there are a lot of competitors, especially local competitors, Google will put you over a competitor if you have relevant photos in your Google My Business profile, because that makes you more attractive to Google, so keep that in mind. A lot of people don't have like a physical space, so they don't put operating hours. They skip that step. I would encourage you not to skip that step, because again, the more information you give Google, the more Google know that they can give to someone searching, searcher intent, which we'll also talk about searcher intent next week. Google knows that it should give that to people, so they'll move you higher in your ranking. So even if you don't have a physical space for people to come into from 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be, you know what hours you're willing to operate, right? You might decide, I'm not seeing anybody before 10 a.m. and I'm not seeing anybody after 2 p.m. That might be what you decide. And you provide services. You may provide only virtual services. You may provide in-person services, whatever it is. Those are your hours. Put it in there, okay? Even if you decide, I want people to think I'm 24 hours, then put 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Put something in there, okay? To push you up in that rating. Add details about your individual services. That's very similar to categories, but you might, let's just say you provide financial services. You might want to say this ranges from nonprofit, fiscal, blah, 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 or small business management, this, whatever. I'm using examples, but you know what I mean. Just put things that are very, very specific to your services so that Google can move you up in that rank, okay? And I'm listing these things because these are in the Google My Business profile. There are places where you can fill this in. You can fill this information in. If you have phone numbers, add additional phone numbers. I'll say most times when I've had a business and I did Google My Business, I'm clearly a millennial. We don't really do landlines. I don't want the world to have my cell phone number, so I don't put my cell phone number. But I don't know if Google still offer this for free, but I created Google numbers when Google used to allow us to create free phone numbers, free virtual phone numbers. So I have Google phone numbers that I put for my businesses. And I don't know, again, I think they might still offer that. Tony, do you know if Google still offers free phone numbers for people?
They do. It's just,
okay.
You might have difficulty getting like the phone number of your area, but they do still offer free. We also have a question in the chat I was going to respond to, but I'll just say it out loud. Dara said, this is her first session I've attended. Welcome. But she says, do you offer classes on Facebook and Instagram optimization?
So Dara or Dara, I'm not sure if we're pronouncing that right.
It's Dara.
Dara, okay. Dara, we have classes that we've done in the past, sessions that we've done on the past specific to Facebook. And if you send us an email to the email address that Tony put in there, we will get that, whatever we have done in the past, to you. Again, you can also always visit our, why is it telling me time left? I'm sorry, guys, my Zoom is doing something really weird. Hold on. I don't know what this means. I don't want this to cut off on everybody. Bear with me 1 second, okay? Everyone, I just don't know why it said that. I'm sorry, Dara.
You're fine.
Stop the screen for just a moment. I swear technology hates me today. Let me stop sharing my screen for just a second if I can figure out where I do that at. Oh, MacBooks. They're so interesting.
Kind of off
am I
topic,
still
but
sharing?
kind of off topic, but I think we used to work together at Aon, if I'm not mistaken.
It's possible. I used to work at Aon, yeah.
Yep.
Years ago. I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't know what's happening right now, and I don't know why. Zoom is telling me I have 10 minutes left. We definitely have a fully paid Zoom subscription, so just bear with me a moment. I just don't want this to cut off on us in 10 minutes. I'm looking for the option to upgrade. And the option to stop sharing my screen. I just can't seem to find anything on this device. Is Tasha here? She's not here with us right now. Okay. Well, everyone, let me say this. If for any strange reason we cut off in 10 minutes, please come right back. I don't think that's going to happen, but I still see a countdown. And I don't know why. It's really bothering my soul. Bear with me for 1 moment. Entertain yourselves for 2 minutes. We're all adults. I promise. I know we can do this. Okay, I am back. Tasha's going to figure out why it's saying that. But if for any reason, guys, we cut off again in 6 minutes or so, just rejoin and wait for me to bring us back in, because I don't know why that's happening. But anyways, back to your question, Dara. If you send us that email, we will get the presentation to you. I will say it's not specific to optimization on Facebook. It's presentations about how you can better do marketing on Facebook, which has inherent optimization things in there. But ironically, I spoke with Lorena last week, and one of the things she talked to me about was doing more in-depth social media courses with you all. So that is something that's coming. It's not next month, because I think next month we're doing websites, but I will do something more focused on the platforms. Facebook might be a few months down the line, but it is, if it's not what you need when you get the presentations from us, you can always set up a one-on-one, or we'll have a session coming in the months coming. In the Small Business Center offer classes and all of that too. So
Okay,
you
thank
should
you.
be no problem. I'm going to go back to share my screen and just hope for the best. And I'm going to repeat it again. If for any reason we go away, just join us back. Is my screen back up? I can't tell. Okay. All right.
We have 2 comments in the chat. Isabella said, I just created a Google number on the Google Voice app. I was able to pick the area code, very easy to do. And then Lorena, I tried to create a number for me, but for some reason it would not approve it. No idea why. Does it matter what cell phone company you use?
Great to hear about you being able to set up a phone number. As far as cell phone companies, I set up my Google number so many years ago. I would need to go back and look. I don't even remember my cell phone company being a factor in the process. It could have changed over the years. So I don't know. I right now, I don't know the answer to that question. So if somebody else does, feel free to answer. But I'm not quite sure of your cell phone company. When I did it, I don't remember my cell phone company even being relevant. So, okay. All right. I hope that was helpful. I don't know. So the other things is just other relevant amenities that you may offer with your business. I want you to make sure that you add that into your Google My Business. Let's see here. We're about to jump into maps and navigations. I'm still a little leery because I feel like this countdown is still on my screen about Zoom. So I'm reminding you again, if we cut off, please rejoin immediately and I'll be right back on. I just don't know why that's happening. But and then we'll just pick up right where we left off. So maps and navigation, which is the meat of what I want you to understand today as we go through the rest of this presentation. Maps and navigation apps sit at the perfect marketing crossroads for you and your business. So just want to quickly kind of just throw some data at you because I think it's important for people to know the information as to why you should even care. They say there's an average of a little over 80% of all Americans that own a smartphone. So in this country, about a little over 80% of people own a smartphone. And obviously that fits perfectly into making sure that you are keeping your business digital on one way or the other. With that information in mind, it should be no surprise that both platforms like Google Maps and all these other navigation apps that we have on our devices, as well as brands, larger companies, and hopefully small companies as well, are using these apps to brand themselves. They're using this as a marketing tool. So as a small business, I want you to also be a part of that. I don't want you to get left off that train and, all of the bigger companies and all of your competitors are just whooshing past you. And by the time you realize people are using these navigation apps as marketing tools, it's 10 years too late, right? So the core reason why this ended up happening is because, again, based on everything I've already talked to you about, they're insanely popular. Google Maps, I keep saying get Google, but we know there are other navigation apps, Waze, iPhone. Apple have their own version. So many other versions of maps that also does the same thing. I will tell you in just a second why I'm primarily only focused on Google, and we'll just leave it at that. So you might not be able to see this image clearly, and you don't really need to see the information. I'll make sure I kind of share this data here with you. But basically what it's letting you know is that more than 2/3, that's 67% of smartphone owners use a map app once a month. So of that over 80% that I told you about, 67% of them are using their map app at least once a month. And this is significantly higher than those that are using. Okay, I think we're about to cut off because it's telling me we have less than a minute. Is it telling y'all that too? So y'all just come right back on. I don't know what's happening. Let me stop talking and then we'll come right back on when this ends, because I just don't want it to end in the middle of us talking. So just join me again in 1 minute. The same link should work, okay?
Okay.
And I think I'm just going to go ahead and relaunch it now. So everybody, I apologize. Just join us in 1 more minute because I literally just don't know why this is happening. And normally it gives an option to upgrade, even if that is happening. And that's just not what's happening right now. I don't know, guys. I'm so sorry about this, but let's just